is too much. What's there left to say?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be my first Valentine's Day look. I'm doing two this year, so this one is the more colorful one, and then I'm doing one that's a bit more smoky, I guess. So this one is the fun one. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. If you would like to know how to get this look, then just keep on watching. Hey guys, so we're going to start with our face makeup. I'm going to first prime with the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. You guys should know this by now. So I did cut off the camera and I let my primer sit for a minute to kind of set or whatever before I put anything on top of it. Now, I want to first thank you guys so much for your suggestions in my last video for different foundations, and some of you guys even gave me other tips. One of the things that I'm going to be trying today is setting my smile lines like before I put on my foundation. So I'm going to take a bit of the Airspun powder in the shade Honey Beige, and I'm going to just set my smile lines. And I'm also going to set the places that I get oily just to see how that works. Which, now that I'm doing this, I've seen this before. I've seen Wayne Goss do a video on this. So he set his T-zone. I never thought to set my smile lines. One of you guys told me that, but I do remember him talking about just setting your primer before applying foundation. So let's see how this goes. So for foundation, I'm using the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation again, and I'm going to be applying this with my fingers. So I'm going to put 2 pumps on my fingers, rub it in. Because I did this the other day and it was like a wow moment, like, oh, full coverage, 1. 2, it melted into my skin, so it looked more like skin than it did look like foundation, which was awesome. And I know people have been doing this for a long time, applying their foundation with their fingers, especially Sandra Deluxe here on YouTube. She uses her fingers. Oop, I just put some in my hair. My hair wants to be brown today. Next, for concealer, I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer. I have mine in the shade Medium Neutral. So then I'm going to set it with the same powder that I used to set my face first. So then let's go in with a little bit of highlight with the Pro Finish powder to get rid of some of the ashiness around my mouth from that setting powder. So now we're moving on to the fun part. We're gonna start with priming our eyes, and I'm using, that was the concealer. I'm using the same concealer that we use to highlight our face, so the Urban Decay concealer, and I'm just going to apply this all over my lids. And then just with that same powder that we've been using to set our face and everything, I'm going to use it to set the concealer on our eyelids. So I'm going to be using more pink shades in my crease, and then on my lid it's going to be like this beautiful white shade. So for the crease shades, I'm going to be using only the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. So get this out if you have it, and let's get started. We're going to start with a transition color, and I'm using raw Sienna, and I'm going to apply this to my crease with a Zoeva 228 brush. Make sure that whatever brush that you're using is more of like a fluffy brush, so it puts like a wash of color instead of like a intense like definition of this color. We just want it to be all in the crease area so that all of the shades after this will blend nicely. The next shade I'm going to use is Love Letter on a Sigma E40 brush, and I'm going to just apply this directly underneath the shade, and I'm doing sort of like a C upside down C motion. I'm not bringing it totally into this portion right here. I'm just kind of keeping it in the crease area. Then we're going to go back in with raw Sienna and just blend out those edges. I'm going to next take a mixture of warm taupe and Cyprus Umber, and this is going on the end of our lid and then swoop it up into our crease. Now we're going to take a little bit of that Urban Decay concealer that we used on our face. We're going to look directly in the mirror to map out where we want our crease to start instead of where it is now. So we want to make it a little bit higher than what it is. And then now we're just going to tilt back and fill it in and sharpen up the edges. So on my lid, I am using a pigment, and I'm using Makeup Addiction Purist pigment, and I just bought this and I'm so excited to use it because it is a white with like blue reflex. It's something I've never seen before, so I'm going to use this on my lid on the empty spot that I just put that concealer, and just apply that all over. And I kind of like to do this before the concealer dries, but I got distracted. So my concealer is already kind of dry, but it's still going on really nicely. You know, honestly, it doesn't even look white anymore. It looks white. Let me show you. This looks white. It looks white, but on my eye it looks blue. I'm not mad at it because it's still pretty, but just saying, it does definitely not look white once you apply it and spread it out. But this is so pretty. I just really thought it was gonna be white. Then we're gonna go back in with the shades that we used on our outer corner just to make sure that the lid shade is blended really nicely. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of the pink because it is Valentine's Day. Well, it's a Valentine's Day look and we want the pink to show. Now we're going to finish off the lower lash line with the same colors that we used in our crease. So I'm going to start with Love Letter, which is the pink shade that we used, and I'm going to make sure that I connect it to these shades on my lid. And then I'm going in with Warm Taupe and applying that directly on top. And you see that I'm only keeping it like halfway on my eyes and then out because we want it to be like sultry. The cat eye look. We want that. So for lashes, I'm using this style from Gold Room. It's in the style Baby Girl. Okay, so for contour / bronzing, I'm going to use the shade Copper Brown and the shade Ash Brown. And then for blush, because this is supposed to be romantic or whatever, I'm going to use the e.l.f. blush palette. Now this one is in the shade Dark. This blush palette, you see like it look like I haven't used it. I've used it twice and it is so pigmented. It's so pigmented to where you can barely even touch it. And it's like a bunch of blush. So be extremely careful if you get this blush palette. I've only used this one, so I guess I'm gonna try this one today. This one has a bit of shimmer in it. So I'm just putting a little bit on the brush and I'm tapping it off and wiping it off. This serious. So I'm going to just apply in between my highlight and my contour. I'm so terrified to apply a lot of this. And I'm going to apply a little bit on the apples of my cheek. Okay, this one is less pigmented than the other one, but that's it. That's all I'm putting. I'm so scared of blush. It frightens me. And then I'm gonna put a little bit right here. All right, that's enough of that before I go overboard. For lips, I'm going to use the MAC Night Moth lip pencil, and then I'm going to fill in the center with ColourPop Too liquid lipstick. And this liquid lipstick is my go-to pink. I really love this liquid lipstick. And that is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you are gonna try out this look. If you do, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to keep yourself updated on my new videos, and I promise I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.